My children are being poisoned. My children are having to drink this. Plants are being poisoned that my children eat.
Meanwhile, lawyers of some 53 protesters that were arrested for alleged unlawful act in last week's protest are accusing the police of forcing detainees to reenact scene. Bondase goes up in smoke as 250 sacks of cannabis are tossed in court-ordered bonfire. We'll be live with our reporter for the very latest. And also in a bulletin, major declaration from government on Galamsey after crunch meeting with organized labor. We'll hear from a labor expert who has slammed organized labor's U-turn.
For how many more days? I'm surprised they had the courage even to say so. Look, this thing didn't start today. It started many years ago. So the president, like me, were all born in Gold Coast. We didn't see these kind of things. Why are we treating this?
Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay with me.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, MyStar Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch.
Protesting back home. Hey, protesting back home. Protesting back home. Protesting back home.
So sounds there as hundreds of protesters of Stop Galamsey Now and Free the Citizens protest will be petitioning the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources today to repeal LI 2426. In addition to their desire to drum home their demands for Galamsey to halt, the demonstrators are also demanding the immediate release of their fellow protesters who were arrested and remanded for 2 weeks. My colleague Obed Kingaglo has been following the protest for the past 2 days, and he has joined me on phone for the very latest. Obed, if you can hear me, what exactly are the protesters and what more can you report on that?
We are currently on the road leading to the airport area where they call the airport stairs, and we are marching on through that stretch to the National Service Secretariat and then through Kaukudi and then pass through the Ridge area through to the Parliament area. And then today's agenda is basically to present a petition to the minister responsible for lands and natural resources. And so that's it where we've gotten to so far.
Right, Obed, tell us about the turnout as compared to yesterday. Has there been any change? Any difference in the turnout today?
So the turnout has not been different from yesterday. The point is that the numbers keep swelling as we move along. When we started, the numbers were not as we have it now. So the numbers keep swelling. I can count an estimation of close to 1,000 people as we speak. And as we move along, people continue to join. And so that has been the issue with regards to numbers as we speak at the moment. But let me engage one of the organizers, Brown Singh, who's been on the forefront of this protest. Brown Singh, you're welcome to Starr FM. Right now, today's agenda is to present a petition to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister. Yesterday, we presented a petition to the Minister in charge of Justice and Attorney General. Have you had a response?
Okay, so no response yet. We asked them to acknowledge the receipt of the letter yesterday, but then they've not done that yet. So we are still waiting for them. But then when we get to our terminating point, and there hasn't been any release, I think we will send a delegation to find out whether the petition has gotten to the office. Because the most important thing is the petition getting to the office and they working on whatever is in there. Thank you.
Now, I heard you talk about the release by the Ghana Water Limited that ability levels have improved. But you were saying that that itself is not enough. What do you mean by that?
Now, so when that is raw source of water. Now, the turbidity was around 14,000 NTU as they communicated earlier. They communicated. And you can't say whether even that figure or that data has been massaged. But then they came out and said the turbidity has reduced to 9,000 because then they stated clearly that the minister was on the ground to help with other activities. And you could clearly see that this is share politics. And even the 9,000 NTU, it's not something good to write home about, because we need to reduce this stability to about 4 NTU or below. And look at the kind of work that's going to go into tweeting 9,000 NTU to 4 NTU. The cost to the state, taxpayers' money, and the amount of chemicals that will be used again, harm to the body again, harm to the human resource, to a whole lot of stress. So we are at the point where if we don't act, I'm sorry, but we are destroying our own future.
Right, thank you very much, Brownson. So I would say that was Brownson, one of the organizers of the Free the Citizens and the Stop Galamsey protest, speaking to me. Now talk about the placards being shown over here, and number of them. Some of them read the effect of Galamsey is beyond partisan politics. And another one reads that protective gears for Galamseyers, but freezing shells for protesters. So a number of them here. And also today I've seen some new faces who are notable in the media. I've seen 4 journalists who used to be with Media General Kawawa. I've also seen Kaligwe here, and a number of media personalities who have shown up today.
Okay, thank you so much, Obed King Gablo, for bringing us up to speed on the second day of the protest. But let's hear from a convener of the Fix the Country movement, Nadine Swa, who is actually part of the protest, and she's been speaking to Starr News.
I'm here because my children are being poisoned. My children are having to drink this. Plants are being poisoned that my children eat.
DJ control.
Their father is not looking after them. I am a single mother here for my children. My husband, their father, has kidnapped some of our children because they cried, because he shouted, "No more Galamsey." So he has done what? He has kidnapped him and me, our children. Let our children go. Give us clean water. Give us Galamsey free food. Daddy, why? Daddy, why are you doing this to us? Oh, Daddy. Oh, Daddy. Daddy.
So you had there one of the convener of the Fix the Country movement, Nadine Swa there. Meanwhile, lawyers of some detained protesters of last week's demonstration by Democracy Hub have accused the police of forcing detainees to reenact scenes at the protest ground. In a statement, the group says the police continues to use unlawful means to intimidate these protesters. Let's get over the phone and speak to one of the lawyers of the protesters, Noah Damte, to understand what really happened yesterday and what actually informed the decision to bring out this statement. Hello. Okay, we are struggling to get him, but let's move away from that and do other stories, because in relations to this, the Ghana Water Company Limited has reported a significant drop in water turbidity at Setri Heman treatment plant in the central region. Well, according to the management in the central region, the quality of raw water source to the plant has improved by approximately 35.71%. Now, you recall that the Ghana Water Company Limited had earlier warned it may shut down the treatment plant due to increased pollution from Galamsey activities. However, in a recent statement, it revealed that the treatment plant is currently recording an average turbidity of 9,000 NTU as compared to the previous average of 14,000 NTU following interventions by the Regional Security Council. We are trying to speak to a convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe, to understand if this sort of, to some extent, give the coalition some sort of assurance amidst the sorry state of our water bodies there. But you're still listening to Star Midday News here on Star 103.5 FM. We also understand that the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners have made a strong appeal to government to take immediate and decisive action against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, during a press conference currently happening in Kumasi as I speak now, and now addressed by Mr. Godwin Amma, the General Secretary of the Association. The press conference was part of the Association's initiative, dubbed Operation Save Our Waters, a quest for equity. Now, the press conference highlighted the Association's deep concern over the destruction of Ghana's water bodies and forests caused by illegal mining. We'll bring you up to speed on that story in our subsequent bulletin.
Now and then we smoke it, another time we boil it. Good for all sickness and pain. Come into the mountain.
Now the skies over Bundase in the eastern region are filled with smoke, not from a barbecue or a property on fire, but from 250 hefty sacks of seized cannabis being destroyed by state authorities. The court-ordered bonfire was under the watchful eyes of a circuit court registrar, police and narcotic control commission officers, as well as police and narcotic control commission officers. Well, this is the second time in just 2 months after a similar exercise was carried out in Accra. Our legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa, is at the scene right now, and he joins me on phone for more. Mutala, if you can hear me, has the burning started? We seem to have a problem with our call lines. We're trying to reach him, but let's move away and do other stories. We understand that government... Okay, we understand that we have Mutala on the phone now. Mutala, can you hear me? Hello, Mutala, can you hear me? Yes, Mutala, we wanted to find out, has the burning started?
Now, what I can tell you is that the burning has started. Over 250 stacks, fertilizer stacks of marijuana and weed are currently in flames here at Bundase Battle Military Camp. And what is clear, notice that 2 months ago, sometime specifically on the 8th of August, a similar exercise was carried out. And what is different from this very exercise is that this one is made up of only weed and marijuana. And this is as a result of the cases that have come up in court, and the court have made orders for these substances to be destroyed. The order of the court was signed on the 3rd of October, or 3rd of September, and today is the 4th of October, for a month after. Currently here are the military officers from the court, but the registrar of the circuit court, Mr. Prosper Kingsley Nakamba, is the one supervising them. He had in support officers for the Ghana Police Service and, of course, the Narcotic Control Commission. And, of course, the military base here, there are some military officers who have also made an appearance here as we speak. Currently, as I speak to you, the substances, 256 sacks of marijuana are currently in flames.
All right. Thank you so much, Mutala Inusa, for bringing us up to speed on what's happening there. Let's move back to our earlier story, where lawyers of some detained protesters of a last week Democracy Hub demonstration have accused the police of forcing detainees to reenact scene at the protest ground. In a statement, the group says the police continues to use unlawful means to intimidate these protesters. Let's hear a security analyst perspective, Dr. Adam Bona, on this particular situation.
We have encouraged the prosecutors to look into the issue of bail, and secondly, also look into the issue of those who are alleging that they were not part of the demonstrators, and yet they were at the venue for some reasons, and they were bundled together. And so it means that there might be some category of persons. The possibility is that such persons usually would be taken back to the scene to probably reenact to be able to tell, to be able to connect the dots, to tell whether indeed they were there or they were, where did they come from? Because I'm aware that, some videos were captured, images were taken of demonstrators as part of, policing the demonstrators. And so I'm not sure of what has happened, but reenacting crime scenes is usually to, understand whether a certain suspect is culpable or a certain suspect probably didn't really have any role to play. For instance, if you were standing at a bus stop, they would want to ensure that maybe some images were taken and they are not too clear. They will have to position you again and see whether indeed it is you who the image, the photographer captured, who was standing far away and you were not taking part of whatever is going on. And so I have heard that the same clothes they wore on the day when they were arrested is the same clothes they are still wearing. The reason is that in reenactment, you want certain things that took place on the same day to it means that you don't have to wear a different uniform. You must appear in the same dress. That way, to make it easy to tell, okay, that is this person who probably walked casually to the place and was not taking part of the demonstration. So it is a possibility that is what is going on, even though I do not have the full fact. But this is the standard practice. It is to ensure that persons who are guilty are punished, or probably the evidence are put together, or persons who are not supposed to have been arrested are let go. And so it could be either way.
So he had the security analyst, Dr. Adam Bona, given his thought on the rationale behind reenacting arrest scenes there. You're still listening to Starr Midday News. Away from that, government has assured organized labor and other stakeholders of its commitment of ensuring sustainable mining and environmental protection in the country. This follows a crunch meeting with organized labor yesterday after they served notice to strike on October 10. According to organized labor, the only way to get government's attention is to lay down their tools from next week. A statement signed by the Minister for Information, Fatimatu Abubakar, thanked organized labor for meeting with the president. But labor expert Austin Game is not happy with labor's decision to meet President Akufo-Addo in the first place. He spoke to Starr News.
About making a definite announcement coming from no less a person than the President of Ghana, having been shown the numerous water bodies, including the prominent ones from Western, Eastern, Ashanti, everywhere, Central. We should still be living with that situation for how many more days? I'm surprised they had the courage even to say so. Look, this thing didn't start today. It started many, many years ago.
So you're surprised?
The president, like me, were all born in Gold Coast. We didn't see these kind of things. Why are we treating this thing that have been handed down to us by our forefathers? Why are we maltreating the environment the way we are doing it?
Labour expert Austin Game there. The Ghana Health Service has called on the general public to avoid contact with persons with rashes. This comes after the country recorded its first monkeypox case. The Ghana Health Service on Thursday confirmed a case of monkeypox in Bia West district of the Western North region in Ghana. The patient, who is a 15-year-old boy, sought medical attention last month at a district government hospital after experiencing fever, body pains, and a sore throat, as well as a rash on his palms and face. The public health advisory issued by the service noted that 230 suspected cases have been identified across 88 districts nationwide. Let's hear the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service speaking to Starr News.
When you see rashes on yourself, don't try to apply an ointment and assume that it's chickenpox or pimples. Go to a health facility. Then the next one is about the spread. So monkeypox spread by contact. So if you see somebody who has rashes or bumps or like wells, you need to avoid contact. Either contact with the beddings or shirts or clothing. You need to avoid it. Or if you see a sick animal that has some like bumps on the body, you need to avoid it. So it's about making sure that we avoid contact, and then also to improve on personal hygiene. So the use of hand washing with soap and running water is very important. But the best thing is to avoid contact between person that has any rash or wells or pimples on the body.
The Executive Health Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy, Dr. Thomas Anava, has called on the Ghana Health Service to step up education of the disease.
Education to make sure that people understand what to do, especially when you meet somebody with the manifestation in it or you have the manifestation in your skin, you avoid getting into the public. Make sure you stay away from gatherings that you get close to people and touch them and it will be transmitted to them. These are some of the things that we have to do. Hotels, for instance, bed sheets must be watched frequently. If you enter a trotro and see somebody with those lesions, you make sure he goes to a hospital and report himself and make sure you take care of yourself very well. So the best is to educate the people by showing the images in public areas, in trotro centers. You put the pictures there of samples of monkeypox in hotels, in theaters, in areas that there are gatherings. You put images there for people to see, to identify the lesions and also identify how to stay away from people with such lesions so that we don't transmit it.
Let's stay a little longer on health, but in the Ashanti region, because the Ashanti Regional Directorate of the Ghana Health Service is urging parents to ignore anti-vaccine campaigns as the service rolls out a measles, rubella vaccination and vitamin A campaign. The vaccination, which will be held across 43 districts of the region, is targeting 95% of children between 9 months and 5 years. The region has come into focus as measles cases have risen from 1 in the year 2020 to 79. Correspondent Ivan Heathcote-Fumado has more in this report.
According to the World Health Organization, some 700,000 children in Ghana are highly susceptible to measles rubella. In the Ashanti region, recorded cases have risen exponentially from 1 in the year 2020 to as high as 79 in the year 2023. Ashanti Regional Director of Health, Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, attributes this to poor vaccine uptake and anti-vaccine campaigns, which he describes as unfortunate.
And as we stated, measles rubella kills. The complications are something that you cannot really pay for. I believe that you don't want your child to be blind or to be deaf. And this is the opportunity that you have, that you can vaccinate your child against measles and rubella. And we said that vitamin A is also a challenge. Therefore, we are taking opportunity to give every susceptible child vitamin A during this campaign. So when we see our health workers coming, the idea is to protect your children against these preventable diseases.
From the 2nd to the 6th of October, medical teams from the health service will be targeting 903,000 children between 9 months and 5 years in all 43 districts of the Ashanti region. Dr. Adomako-Boateng is positive vaccinating 95% of the vulnerable population will greatly reduce the risk of outbreaks and its consequences of possible deaths, blindness, and deafness in children.
The primary objective for this exercise is to increase the population immunity against measles and rubella by achieving at least 95% coverage rate, both for Ashanti region and the 15 other regions in the country. We have other secondary objectives, but I want this, that at least if you take 100 children, 95 of them should be vaccinated.
The accelerated action on measles rubella vaccinations comes off under the theme, Measles Kills. So vaccinate your child for a good life. For Star News, Ivan Heathcote-Fumado, Ultimate FM, Kumasi.
So you had a report by my colleague Ivan Heathcote-Fumado. It's time for sports, and Christian Kobikwashi is in the studio with the very latest. Christian.
Good afternoon, Awisi Dede. Now, the coach of the Blasters, Otuado, is set to announce his squad for the 2025 African Cup of Nations double header qualifiers against Sudan at 1 p.m. at the GFA Secretariat in Accra. The Blasters are expected to regroup later next week for match day 3 and 4 of the qualifiers after a rocky start to their campaign, a 1-0 loss to Angola at the Barra Sports Stadium and a 1-1 draw against Niger. Otuado is expected to call up a strong squad, including key players like Thomas Partey, Jordan Ayew, and Inaki Williams. It is expected that Alexander Jiku and Ernest Nyama makes return to the team after missing out the last time due to injury concerns. The Blasters currently sits third in Group F with just 1 point. The Blasters will face Sudan at home on Friday, October 11th, before traveling to Libya for the second leg on Monday, October 14th. Now, in the Ghana Premier League this weekend, Accra Hasufok will begin match day 5 fixtures against Aduana FC when they meet at the University of Ghana Stadium this evening at 6 p.m. Hasufok lie 14th with 4 points, while Aduana FC also are 17th in the relegation zone with just 3 points. Coach of Aduana FC, Yao Echampon, believes that his young team can turn things around after a poor start of this season.
I think we are using a very young team, and looking at the last game that we played, we only paraded 2 senior players. I believe things will turn around. Looking at the way they are playing, I believe things will turn around. Game management, but like I'm saying, we are using a very young, inexperienced players, so it will take little time for them to turn up. Yeah, like I said, now everybody think because we are looking at the position that we are in the league, but we are also coming. Because looking at my boys, they are playing very, very good. Like I'm saying, it's inexperience, but gradually, we will pick up.
Now, Harry Maguire's stoppage time header rescued a point for Manchester United against Porto in a 3-3 game in the Europa League, despite Bruno Fernandes being sent off for the second time running. Porto came back from 2 goals down after early strikes from Marcus Rashford and Rasmus Højlund, but Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag says his side should not be judged now, despite their disappointing start in the season.
We started the game very good and we dominated them. We scored 2 good goals, but then we lost control. So the start was good, the middle part was no good, and then we finished very good. And it's a tough place to go. And yeah, we're coming back from a 3-2, and we get the equalizer. So it's good for the spirit. You see again, the team is willing, strong character, but the middle part, in the defending, we have to improve.
That should be it for sport. Back to you, Awisi Dede.
Thank you so much, Christian, for giving us sports. Now, before we go, Rana Motors has unveiled 2 Hyundai vehicle models, the Hyundai Mighty truck and the County New Breeze truck. My colleague Calvin Powell was at the unveiling and has come through with his report.
The Hyundai Mighty stands out as a top-tier light commercial vehicle, combining reliability, efficiency, and practicality, making it ideal for diverse business needs. Addressing the media, Rana Motors Chief Operating Officer Kasem Odemat underscored the company's dedication to driving progress and meeting customers' evolving requirements.
We are launching the new model of the trucks of Hyundai. What Hyundai has done is they have increased the safety features and the efficiency features in the car. Like for example, today you have additional safety features. You have also a more efficient engine that can give better fuel efficiency. So for us, we always like to launch whatever new is coming, whatever new products are coming from Hyundai or from any brand that we represent. And we believe that the Ghanaian market always looks forward to be receiving those new models.
Hyundai Motor Company's General Manager for Middle East and Africa, Joseph Jion, highlighted Ghana's growing economy and increasing demand for reliable transportation solutions, making it a strategic focus for the Hyundai brand.
Hyundai is focused on the eco-friendly vehicle and also integrating the new technology.
We'll bring you the entire story in our subsequent bulletin, but that brings us to the end of Star Midday News here on Star 103.5 FM. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. Have a wonderful afternoon.